Baby Sarah lived in a small cottage on the edge of a quiet village with her mama, papa, and her big fluffy dog Coco. She was just learning to say her first words, but her eyes were always wide with curiosity, as if every leaf, bird, and cloud had a story to tell. Sarah's favorite place was the garden. It wasn't just any garden. It was full of flowers in every color you could imagine. Mama called it the Rainbow Garden. In spring, tulips of red and yellow lined the path. In summer, tall sunflowers waved in the warm breeze, and all year round, tiny purple violets hid in the corners like shy friends. Every morning, Mama would carry Sarah outside to water the plants. Sarah would point at a flower and try to name its color. Ba, she'd say for blue, ree for red. Coco would trot beside them, his tail wagging, sometimes sniffing a flower, sometimes chasing a butterfly. A strange morning. One bright summer day, Mama opened the door to the garden and gasped. Oh no! Sarah blinked sleepily from her stroller. Something was wrong. The garden looked pale and dull. The flowers were drooping, their colors faded. Even the sunflowers seemed to have lost their smiles. It hasn't rained in days, Mama murmured. The flowers must be very thirsty. Sarah tilted her head. She didn't like seeing her garden friends so sad. She reached out her tiny hand toward a wilting tulip and babbled softly, "Oh," Coco whined, as if he understood too. The little watering can. Mama went to get her big watering can. But when she tried the tap, nothing came out, no water. Oh dear, the village water pump must be broken, she sighed. Sarah's little eyes darted around, thinking in her baby way. Then she spotted her own tiny yellow watering can, the one Papa had bought just for her. It was small, but it could still carry water. She pointed. Dat, Mama smiled sadly. That's sweet, Sarah, but we don't have water to fill it. Sarah frowned for a moment, then looked at Coco. The big dog tilted his head and wagged his tail, as if saying, "Follow me!" Coco's secret path. Coco trotted toward the back corner of the garden. Behind the raspberry bushes was a narrow little path Mama never used. Papa said it led to an old well, but it had been covered for years. Sarah squealed in excitement. Mama followed, curious. Sure enough, there was the old stone well, covered by a wooden lid. Mama knelt down and pushed the lid aside. Inside, water glistened at the bottom. It looked fresh and cool. "Well, would you look at that?" she said. She found a small bucket hanging on a rope. Slowly, she lowered it down, scooped up water, and filled Sarah's tiny watering can. A baby's hard work. Sarah giggled as Mama handed her the little can. She toddled toward a row of drooping daisies and poured the water gently over them. "Ah," she cooed, as if the flowers could understand. Then Mama filled the can again, and Sarah toddled to the roses. Coco walked beside her like a proud helper. Back and forth they went, Mama, Sarah, and Coco, watering every thirsty plant in the rainbow garden. By the time the last sunflower got its drink, Sarah's cheeks were pink, and she let out a happy sigh. The magic of rainbows. The next morning, something magical happened. Sarah woke to Mama's excited voice. "Sarah, come see!" She hurried to the garden in Mama's arms. The flowers weren't just healthy again, they were brighter than ever. The roses shone like rubies, the tulips glowed like sunshine, and the violets twinkled in the shade. But the most amazing sight was in the middle of the garden. A soft rainbow arched right over the flowers. It was small, like it had grown there overnight. Sarah pointed, eyes wide. "Wayne Bow!" Mama's mouth fell open. "Your first clear word," she said, hugging her tightly. A special visitor. That afternoon, while Sarah played on her blanket, a small yellow butterfly landed on her hand. She giggled and waved gently, not wanting it to fly away. Mama watched with a smile. "Maybe the garden is thanking you," Mama whispered. "You brought it back to life." Coco lay nearby, tail thumping, as if he agreed. From that day on, Sarah became the garden's little guardian. Every morning, she would toddle to the well with her watering can, Coco following faithfully. Mama helped, of course, but Sara always gave the first splash of water herself. The promise, as the seasons changed, the rainbow gardens stayed bright and happy. Sara learned more words: blue, flower, bee, and even cocoa. One evening, as the sun set in pink and gold, Mama told her a story about how gardens have hearts. "They grow best," she said, "when they are loved." Sara didn't fully understand yet, but she patted a sunflower's stem and whispered, "Love." Moral of the story: even the smallest hands, guided by love, can bring color back to the world.